Destiny.
Yeah,
It's still a video game.
that's correct.
People are still playing it.
Yes,
Are they?
I think so.
Aaron's shaking his head.
I think so. And like one of the interesting things actually for me is if you use Twitch as a barometer, right?
Right.
Because a lot of people are playing. There was actually at least like a little bit before this show, there's actually more people playing Destiny than or at least broadcasting viewers watching on Destiny than the Division.
Oh, really?
However, I think Division's patch was earlier than Destiny, so maybe it's some of that. But I think there's still people playing. How many? I don't know.
All right.
You know?
Very successful game. Obviously, it's been out now for a year and a half, I guess, at this stage.
It was more than that.
Yeah,
That game had this office captivated
Totally.
for probably a full year.
Yeah. Like last year, the whole way up to the Taken King, and then after Taken King, I feel like it had a massive resurgence in this office, and then obviously in the wider world as well. But now they're sort of doing the updates a little bit differently. What have they relaunched exactly today, Tay?
So this one's a bigger update. It's not like these events that they've been having where it's like, Valentine's Day special or something like that. Those were kind of timed events. This one's a little bit bigger. This is essentially giving you Prison of Elders back, which is something you got in the Dark Below DLC, which is like a while ago. But they're reopening that again, so players have something to strive for. There's new gear, there's a higher light level, and there's also a little bit of an addition of story. There is a new strike, also an updated strike. So there is definitely some new activities to do that are not just like time based, where you have 2 to 3 weeks to do it and that's it.
And are these activities wholly new? Is there new story stuff in it, or are they just sort of like shuffles of existing content?
It's mainly reshuffles.
Okay.
To be honest, I think the story mission that the Blighted Chalice Strike, that's a little bit newer because it's one of like these hive that are trying to take over for Oryx, who you defeated in the Taken King, and he's trying to vie for power. So there is a little bit of story, and then I think you capture him, and then you fight him in Prison of Elders ultimately. So
right. The Winter's Run strike is sort of a retooled one as well. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's one of the ones with a big Archon priest. He's like the huge-looking captain of the Fallen, essentially, and they pretty much made it a Taken version.
I think internally they actually called it Takenifying.
Yes, I saw that on a video actually a couple of weeks ago. I feel like they Takenified the Prison of Elders as well, right? There's like a harder version of it.
Yeah, there's like different tiers, and like one of the tiers of the Prison of Elders is a like Taken version, and there's just like a lot of Taken.
Yeah, they've also added, I guess, the armor set that the Taken had people liked as well, so they've made that available.
They have a new glow set called Chroma, basically.
Right.
So when we opened, I think Dan opened his was a Sterling Treasure box, and he immediately got 4 colors or something like that.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it was like right out of the box, he went to the postmaster, and he was already able to get Chroma on his armor. It seems like...
Is that different to the Taken stuff, though?
That is different. The Chroma armor, or the Chroma that you can add to armor, is different from the Taken.
It's like a bunch of different colors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like blue, red, yellow. But to get back to your point of...
What other colors? Purple?
No, there's not that many.
Yeah, white.
I think you can mix them, maybe. I think there's white.
It's video games in 2016.
The next DLC will
3
be...
adults talking about colors.
The Taken armor is cool to me. However...
That looks nifty enough.
Yeah, and then if you get the whole set, you kind of get the Taken jitter emote. Where kind of like spaz out a little bit.
Which is only a big deal because they're selling emotes for dollars now.
Right. So it's a free emote. Sort of.
Sort of. That one you have to earn. The Taken armor is a random drop from the Sterling Treasure box, which you can earn throughout the week. Prison of Elders, I think 41 gives you 1 per week. We got one for free from the postmaster. And then there's other activities that you can earn them from, like Shaq's Weekly and stuff like that. Or you can also buy them, which is kind of the weird, interesting part, because they haven't really done this thing where you can buy like gear, right? Really. But it's not pay to win necessarily, because you don't just get the max light level of this armor.
Right.
It's like kind of vanity at first, and then you use the stuff you find in like Prison of Elders or these other activities to then boost it to the highest level, and then you can do that. But you could get the full set if you just spent money.
And speaking of light level, they've upped the maximum light level.
Yeah,
as well,
335.
Right? Yeah, and there's kind of more ways to get light now.
Yes.
This kind of sounds like what happened to WoW, in that like there was all these rules in place for lots of these things, and like certain game modes went this way, and certain currencies went this way, and then over time those walls just seem to fall apart, mostly for
Seems-
quality of life. But it always feels like something was kind of lost in that transition. Is that like it's less
Seems
special?
like this April update is targeted at lapsed players like myself.
Right.
So Tay's like mastered King's Fall 1,000 times over, and his light level is maximum. I don't know, like our Destiny crew fell apart towards the end of the year, and
Yeah.
so I haven't even really gotten all the way through King's Fall, and have a lot of ground to make up. And now I can do a lot of different activities as a casual player and get up to max level.
Oh, okay.
But I think they're screwing up a little bit, just because the motivation for players that were casual players was always getting ready for the next thing, the next raid or the next DLC, and that's why that was your motivation to get your light level up, not just for the sake of leveling.
Yeah.
And so without them telling casual players what they're working for, it's nifty. Maybe you'll go in and like color your armor, but what's your motivation
Right.
outside of that? You're not getting ready for anything.
We've got a bunch of questions from the chat, actually, sort of about that aspect of it, Aaron. The first one up, actually, is from Kingdom2, who asks, is the April update good enough to get you to jump back into Destiny? So, first of all, Aaron, how do you feel about that?
I'm willing to give it a week or two and just see what the drop rate is like and get my character potentially ready for whatever they're going to talk about at E3. But in terms of long-term motivation, I'll probably stick with the division a little bit longer, just because, again, you're not telling me why I'm doing this. I know that I can do it now, and it's good that I have that option. But there's also a history of once the next DLC drops, you'll just let me get up to light level fast anyway.
Right, yeah.
So there's not a lot of reason outside of just look at my cool new bike and my cool new ghosts to do it, really.
What do you think, Eric? I feel like you've been sort of keeping up with top level Destiny since day one. Is there anything in this that makes you particularly excited?
I want. The
It's the day Dark Souls 3 comes out.
Yeah, well, see, fortunately enough for me, I played a lot of that. I still am playing that game. I love that game, but
we're not really talking about it on today's show because we've talked about it for the past 2 weeks. So yeah,
I'm totally in for the Taken armor. Like vanity has always been a big thing for me, even spanning from WoW, right? Like you just want your character to look cool, and this is a way to do that. Now, granted, that stuff might not carry forward. It probably won't, but in the moment, that's cool, right? And I'm good for that. Like I don't think I will spend as much time playing this free update as much as I used to play because there's no raid, and the raid is really what kind of keeps you there, right?
And those new like missions that they've put in, the sort of re-jumbled stuff, that doesn't appeal to you necessarily?
The Prison of Elder stuff is like fun, and then it kind of gets old. It's just like waves, like horde mode with the boss. It is fun, and like there are new modifiers, so there's things to learn, but that stuff doesn't have as much like longevity as like a raid or something like that. So I'll probably play it for the next 2 to 4 weeks casually, get the stuff I want, and then probably stop. It's like Aaron said, you're kind of building up all this stuff, hoping that it's going to help you at the next DLC, which it will, but like how much is it going to help you? Who knows? Like every time WoW came out with an expansion, all the stuff you just farmed was probably going to get obsolete by greens, and you're just like, well, I had fun during that time, but man, I feel like I just wasted a lot of time, kind of, so.
To that end, I guess on the top level of stuff, Goopshoe wants to know where you can find that 335 gear.
I believe they said Iron Banner has a chance. Like a lot of places have a chance to get to 335. So like I believe Iron Banner, when it comes around again, you'll have a chance there. I believe the Shaxx weeklies, I believe also have a chance to get to 335. And I'm pretty sure Prison of Elders, like the harder version, has also a chance to get to 335. So
but the language is always KG. The language is always up to.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
Which means it's probably not very likely to drop.
Team Toaster 1132 echoing what a lot of people are saying in the chat. The Destiny update feels like a fan service update. Is there a certain amount of truth to that? That like in between these sort of grander updates, that they sort of need to like keep fanning that flame a little bit, just keep sort of stoking the fire.
Yes,
I guess
definitely. I think that even for someone like me that played so much, right? Part of it is my raid group stopped playing, so I stopped playing, right?
Yeah.
Also because I started to get bored. So these little events are nice, right? And you play them sporadically, but they needed something a little bit meatier, something to grind a little bit more for, to kind of, like you said, fan the flame a little bit. Keep that going until we get to E3. We talk about, the next whatever Taken King is, and everyone's excited. I was shocked last year at E3 when, like, even Ben Howard was like, oh, yeah, that looks good. I want to play it. And he's not even, like, huge into Destiny. So, like, if they do the right thing, it'll be fine. But you have to keep up, especially now with the division. Like, they have actually people to compete with, which is probably good. Like, healthy competition will hopefully help them be even better than they are now. But we'll see. They had to do it, I feel like.
So after this, we're going to have a Destiny stream for the people who are watching live. When is that on, and what are you going to be focusing on?
Probably around 3:30, depending on how this ends. I just give myself buffer time to make sure everything's fine. So roughly 3:30, hopefully, and it'll probably mainly be Prison of Elders, which is pretty much the big activity, because the missions kind of the new strike rather. Sorry, you have to do a bunch of quests for it that I haven't all completed. Maybe I have time like once I step out, but we're gonna open a bunch of pay to look good. I'm not gonna call it pay to win. I'm gonna call it pay to look good.
Pay to look good.
Yeah.
Pay to look fly.
I got 6 sterling boxes,
Pay to
maybe
dance
more.
hard.
pay to dance good. All right, that's Destiny. So that'll be up just over an hour's time for those watching live. If you're listening on demand, or watching on demand, you can watch that on GameSpot.com and on our YouTube archive on Destiny.